Alright, so as you can see here, I am doing this Prismatic trial, which is pretty easy. If you've tried doing this Mercenary Prismatic trial in different seeds and different stages, you'll know as well as I do that it is pretty hard and pretty annoying. This stage is pretty easy compared to other ones I've seen. Almost always, in order to complete the stage, you need this godforsaken topaz. And you cannot use, I did not know this, but apparently you can't use the personal shield generator, which is kind of weird because I thought when it said 100% HP, as you can see I quit here because I'm pretty sure I screw up, but thankfully I start this run the same every single time, and I figured leaving that 40-second dip there. And also, again, there was some trial and error with this, and the two trial and error things was one, is that I thought I could scheme the game by using Transcendence, where basically I convert all my HP to shield. That doesn't work. I thought it did. It does not. Unless I made a mistake. I went back, watched the video. I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then, like I was saying, the personal shield generator, for some reason they don't count that. Like, the game doesn't count that. I feel like it should, though, because, like, you know, like, your shield will go down, but your HP doesn't. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like your HP and shield are two different things. You have the blue bar, then the green bar. I don't know why. Like, for example, this works. Why can't the blue shield work? So, as you can see here, if this is like, I think there's like 35 hours left in the seed. So, about a day and 12 hours. Or a little less than that. But, as you can see, you also get a new, which you don't really need. And the reason why I say you don't really need it is because the way that I'm doing this, you'll see it's not that hard, because the second stage to this is two stages, this stage, the next one. The second stage to this actually has a legendary rare. I got the Tesla Coil. And from the new, I ended up getting the half HP double damage, and then also the shell. If you don't have the shell, it's actually really good. I'm pretty sure you do not get it by default. You need to push a bunch of those walking crabs off a ledge and have them kill themselves. I think it's 20. But it's actually really good because basically you activate your equipment automatically, and your equipment cooldown is 50% less than what it usually is. So that goes really well with this run. Technically, honestly, by the time you get to the next stage, you should be so brolic and godly and amazing that it doesn't even really matter, honestly, because you'll see, like, and by the way, for this, there's I think for both stages you're forced to do a mountain, which isn't terrible. But I made the mistake of thinking I could, like, just power through and do more than one mountain to get more perks. You really don't need the perks, honestly. For this, all you really need is, what I usually do is, what I usually do, I did this once, is I'll usually get 4 or 5 topazes on this stage, and then maybe one of the item, the diamond, the red diamond, for, like, better melee damage. Or just go all topazes just for the extra HP. And also for the new, I will recommend you could, and by the way, the good thing about this, why this makes this a very good challenge, by the way, is that this is command, which means you get to pick your perks. So you could just do topaz, 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 topaz. And for the new, what I got from the new, the first time I tried it and I killed myself, is that I doubled up on the half HP, 50% attack up. You really don't need that. You only need one of those. And the reason why I say that is because you really don't need it. The enemies are weak enough. And two is that your shield, the yellow shield you see being generated there, is basically going to be 2 times what your HP is at max. So right now I have like 224, so the max I'm going to get is like 400-ish at the maximum. So if you get 2 of those HP downs, you end up having a shield of like 80, which is not enough. You need at least like 200 just to tank hits, and not even die. I ended up dying because I took a hit for like 120, ended up, you know, dying because I had 70 HP, but my total HP was like 35 or something like that. But yeah, this stage is actually really, really, really easy compared to other ones. I'd say the hardest thing would have to be these stupid wisps. I guess with this, when you have the topaz, it's not terrible because you can just R to them, or, you know, just do a shift and, like, jump to them. This is really good in terms of getting your shield up, your HP up. And then obviously these guys also drop this annoying bomb attack. But it's not that bad just if you're using Mercenary, and the reason being that you could just do your special. In this case, is my R, and you don't take damage. You end up, and as you can see, I don't know how, but I didn't pick up the fucking item like an asshole. Yeah, you do the R, and then you do not take the damage. And I'd also recommend that when you're doing this, those do actually more damage than the monsters. And take that into consideration, because the first time I was doing this, I actually beat it, and I took no damage. And then at the end, I was just standing there like a fucking asshole, thinking like, oh, what's the big deal? You know, like, it's not going to do that much damage. I ended up doing like 600 or 700, which bled into my HP and completely ruined it. Which sucks. It really sucks. This is a relatively easy run. Like I said, if you've tried this before, you will appreciate what you're seeing right now. The fact that you have command, you could pick Topaz is a blessing. And also the enemy selection is not that bad. It's not like you're fighting anyone like the bot. Like, as you can see here, like, these guys are pretty squishy. They're not that hard. And there's plenty of like little enemies that you could just like R2 and kill them. And I also recommend for equipment, I just take the missiles, because the way I'm going to build this is that the Qs I'm using, my equipment, not even for damage really, like the damage is like whatever, it's more so of like getting rid of the wisps, because dude, you'll be walking, right, and say you're like this, you don't have any shields, you didn't get to kill an enemy yet, and you just see one sniper wisp like in the back, dude got a bear at 50 cal across the map, hits you once, you know, it doesn't matter, you cannot take any damage. So like, even if it's a little baby bitty bit, it still sucks. I kind of wish they did, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Acrid, where there was like a 50% HP. So I remember someone had that. Or, what do you call it? Huntress has one. But Huntress is like, you could do it during the normal game, and it's way more easy, because like, literally all you do is like, what I'm doing right now, except it's a normal game. So you could stack like 10 topazes, which is OP, by the way. Like, that's ridiculous. Your HP is going to be up and away. Oh, by the way, so as you can see here, the automatic Qs are pretty helpful. And as you can see, one Q kills 2 golems, which is pretty good. I think you just need to watch out for these stupid bombs. And that, by the way, that crate right there by the boulder, I'm going to go back to that. But that's the item that has the legendary. And again, it's command, so you can pick whatever you want. I picked Tesla Coil because it was pretty good at killing the wisps. And honestly, I could not think of anything off the top of my head at this point in time that I was like, I wanted really, because you are, like, you're going to see when you get to the bosses, you're doing enough damage, you don't really need anything. If you want to kill the bosses even faster, because they're technically elite, you could get a guillotine, but like, you'll see, like, you really don't need that. Like, it's so much easier. And by the way, I did bring a gunner drone along, and if you could bring a healer drone, maybe, just as a distraction. Like, you'll notice the enemies sometimes lose their mind, and they'll not pay attention to you and look at them, and it might save you at certain scenarios. For me personally, I just prioritize Topaz. I think at some point I do get Topaz and Fuel Cell Array. Fuel Cell Array to get the extra equipments. Look at this, dude. Like, the Tesla Coil is like completely destroying their, like, literally one Tesla shock and they're dead. But what I was gonna say was Fuel Array, Topaz, and I think I did get boss items as well. And by the way, those crystals, as you can see, you can attack those crystals and you'll get Topaz HP from, like, quote-unquote killing them, destroying them, whatever. And as you can see, 14-second cooldown for the equipment. Not too bad. Not that bad. I think with that 14-second cooldown, if you do not take damage, you should be A-okay. I just took boss damage because I honestly don't know what the damage percentage difference is. Like, if it would have been better to not get that and get the close attack. But as you can see, I'm killing all these, like, small enemies super easily, so it's not that big of a deal. And also, if you're paying attention, this is pretty fast. A lot of these prismatic runs are usually, like, on average 20 minutes. But there's a few I've seen on YouTube. So this is like, what? Even after I restarted the first time I died, this is like less than 10 minutes. Which is pretty damn good, dude. Because I spent, like, a lot of time. Usually what it boils down to is you get some equipment. If you have command, you get to choose. If you don't have command, by the way, this is not guaranteed to have command. This just so happens to have command and a decent stage setup. But you get your equipment, and then you start the boss. You go somewhere where you cannot get hit, and you basically just pray and hope that you can kill the boss and not get hit, and then, you know, go and teleport or something. But yeah, as you can see here, absolutely, the Tesla Coil is absolutely annihilating them. The Q, when it hits them, does the extra damage. Like, it's not necessary. And now here's a point where, like, I was just standing by where to teleport, and I thought that, oh, like, I'll be fine. I'm not going to take any damage. I ended up taking, like, 600-ish. Ended up doing more damage than I was expecting, so just be careful for that. But this is an extremely, extremely, extremely easy prismatic trial compared to what you usually get, which is like you just spawn in, there's like a million wisps, there's like fucking Chris Kyle on a mountain shooting you from a million years away. There we go. Mercenary Ethereal, that's the last thing I needed. And now that is complete, my life is complete. I'm probably going to go to bed now. And if you see this video after 35 hours, I feel bad for you, because Lord knows there's a lot of bad seeds out there.